You're about to listen to Death by Vanilla, a conversation with cringy consequences.
Hey, what'd you do that for? Well, what's that? Oh, give me that. What'd you do that for? What'd you do that for? Hey, what'd you do that for? What'd you do that for? What'd you do that for? Well, what's that? Oh, give me that. What'd you do that for?
Vanilla.
Just what I was fixing to do.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching Death by Vanilla, a show where two out-of-touch white men try to navigate a conversation without stepping on a landmine of cringe. I'm your host, Jeffrey Dahmer.
And I'm your host, Jeff Dunham.
Dunham.
And welcome back to Death by Vanilla. Today we're going to be talking about memories. I have a sucky memory. Tim, do you have a good memory? Do you have a bad memory?
Bad memory.
Do you retain stuff in your brain hole?
No, unless it's like, and for some reason, the only stuff that I do remember is just the most random crap. Like, it's just something so random, like, I'll remember where something is in the house, and then I'll see it over and over again, and then Dan will be like, where is this? And then I'll be like, oh, it's right there. And then he's like, oh, that's not even yours. Why do you remember where that is? Don't know. And then, like, but whenever it comes to actual good memories, I don't retain anything.
Really?
Don't retain anything.
See, I'm the opposite. So, like, I can't tell you anything about what I even did this week.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I can't tell you anything about what I did this week, but ask me next week and I can tell you everything that happened. Mm-hmm. And then also same with, like, I can remember most of our, we were talking before the podcast that like mom has been asking us a lot of memories, and she asked me and I was like, oh yeah, I remember a lot from my childhood. Because I remember a lot of things, like specific moments, little glimpses. And so then she asked you and you guys...
you
didn't.
I remember some of it, but there's really specific things that I don't remember that I should.
Okay, like what?
Recently we just went to this Erie Sports Center or whatever, and it's for go-karts. And apparently we've been there before.
Yeah.
For years ago. Yeah, for like a Halloween thing. And I was older. I should have remembered, but I didn't. And they were explaining to me all of this like random crap that I should have remembered, but I didn't. But then I still remember like a good amount of my childhood, but like good memories that I should know, I just don't remember.
So about that place that you're talking, I'll share my memory from that. So you can share me what you remember from that.
Don't remember anything.
You don't remember anything?
I don't remember a single thing.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We can play a little game. Since we're brothers, we had pretty much the same upbringing. I'm like 9 years ahead of you.
Yeah.
It's 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years ahead of you.
Wait. Isn't it only 6?
You're 16.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 25.
Yep.
So, no, that's
6.
That's 9 years. Yeah, that's 9 years.
What? Oh, okay.
You're 16. I'm 25.
Yes.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's 9
checks
years.
out. That checks out.
Anyway, so there's 9 years between us, but in between there's a middle part where we shared memories.
Yes.
Okay, so you give me memories from your childhood,
Whenever you
and
were in
I'll
the
see what I
house?
remember from that.
Or whenever you were in the house?
Things that we shared. Yeah, moments together. Okay.
Yeah. I think we like the Florida trips. Do you remember the Florida trips going down?
Oh yeah.
I remember those so well. Like even the first one that I was turning 4. I was turning 4 that trip, and I still remembered it really crystal. And like that hot tub specifically, and that beach, and everything about that hotel, I remember really, really good.
It was a pretty big pool.
Yeah.
They had like palm trees next to the pool. We celebrated your 4th birthday down there.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember what I gave you for your birthday?
I do not. What did you give me?
I printed off. So I was back in the day, did not know too much about graphics design, but I loved doing it.
Yeah.
So if you were turning 4, I was 13. Okay. I went on Publisher and I took a picture of Santa Claus because your birthday is in December.
Oh yeah.
I took a picture of the Santa Claus and I superimposed your face onto Santa Claus.
What?
I made you like a card. I made you like a homemade card on Publisher with your face on it, and then like I used like text like around it.
The frick! Like I said, stuff I should remember.
Yeah, I printed it, and then I gave it to you for your birthday, and you don't remember. That's fine.
I don't remember like, and that's another thing. I could not tell you what you got me for like my 7th birthday on it.
I couldn't tell you that either.
I don't know. Like,
but I remember very clearly.
That's like a good present. I would have remembered, but I just
and we didn't have our printer in our in our hotel room kind of thing. Do you remember anything about our hotel room?
I remember it very specifically.
Okay, what do you remember?
So whenever
about
you
it?
would get in, on the left side would be like kind of the kitchen area with that one little island.
Yeah.
Behind that little island there was a couch.
That's right.
And then straight ahead there was a balcony. That couch I think was a futon, was it?
Yeah, it was.
And then on the right side that there was this room that mom and dad were staying in, I think. And was there one on the other side, the opposite side, or no?
No, I don't think so.
Wasn't.
Yeah, because we all stayed in the living room.
But then straight on that like little hallway where that room was, there was a bathroom, right?
There was a bathroom right there. Yeah,
that's all I remember.
No, you remember the layout.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
I freaking loved it. I don't know why I remember that. I was just thinking about that. I was like, I could tell you the layout of that specifically because of the I remember like walking up to the island like it was like yesterday. It was crazy.
So I actually sent that to Dad. So we were there because of our dad was on a work trip, and I asked Dad if he could print that out because obviously we didn't have a printer. So Dad printed that out at work, and then he brought it home. Anyways, do you remember the nudist beach?
I don't. I think no. So that's something that you guys did.
I didn't.
You didn't go.
It was Daniel and Josh.
We were taking a nap. We were back at the hotel. We were taking a nap.
You, me, and Dad were sleeping. I'm pretty sure.
And mom, dad, and Josh. Mom, Josh, and Daniel went out and they went on a walk. And then that's whenever they saw the dude who was shark fishing.
Yep, that was
also.
Cool.
And then they came back and then they told us.
They took pictures with the camera that I have right over there.
Yep.
I'm gonna go get that.
Go get that. But they came back and they told us after they woke up.
Yeah.
After we woke up, and then they took us to him. Still fishing, I think. And then we went on a walk on the beach.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't like people, especially like strangers. This little guy is the thing that came with us on the trip. I brought it.
Everywhere.
Like I keep it because it's just so tiny and cute, but also I may use it as a second angle at some point in time because we're extra. But
and also it's the video quality on it still surprisingly.
It's 1080p.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
I remember, so one really specific memory I remember having about that guy though.
Okay.
The shark fishing guy.
Shark bait. Wow.
Shark bait. I remember, so there was these rocks behind him that were really slimy. Big rocks.
I don't remember that.
So this is why I remember it because I don't know if they were rocks or if they were whatever they were. I don't know. We were walking on them. And for some reason, I thought that they were gutted like sharks. I thought that those were the sharks for some reason.
Yeah.
My mind wasn't processing enough what a shark was. So I just assumed that those were just sharks, dead sharks that we were walking on. And I don't know why.
I mean, there was a huge thing that like mom was like really on our case about jellyfish on the beaches. We had never been to an official beach before. We're used to fresh lake beaches where we don't have to worry about freaking dying.
Men of war and stuff like that.
We don't have to worry about deadly animals like being underfoot. But so we were probably super cautious about that.
Yeah.
And so you were probably like, oh my gosh, this is a dead shark. And also you had no interactions with sharks. So ever.
I didn't at that point thinking back on it now, I don't think at that point I knew what a shark looked like. I don't think I'd ever seen a picture of a shark, which is freaking crazy to me because in that moment it's still like wacky to believe. Like whenever I look back on the memory, it feels like it was actually like really close, but it wasn't at all. And looking back on that memory, I had no idea what a shark was.
Yes.
Mom was just like, he's a guy who fishes.
Or you don't remember that you knew what a shark
was.
Looked like.
Yeah, and I was just like,
because you probably had seen them in like picture books and like we did a lot of reading as kids. So like there's probably illustrations in books. So you're like, this is what a shark looks like, but you had never seen like a real picture. of a shark,
I was still discovering everything. So I was like, oh, this is what a dead shark looks like on the beach, and I'm walking on it.
No.
And I remember getting super aggravated at mom because she was just talking to the dude forever. Like I'm like, let's go.
Do you remember whenever we first got there? Do you remember going to the wrong floor?
No.
Whenever we first got there, we got all of our luggage onto the elevator. We did all of the usual stuff that we usually do whenever we first get there. Dad gets out of the car. He goes in. He like checked. Yeah, he checks in. Mom is in the car with us. We're still pretty much sleeping at that point in time, but we're like waking up slowly because it was a 24-hour car ride. We start waking up. We're still in our winter clothes. because it's December and we're coming from the top of the United States to the bottom of the United States. And that's hard. Anyway, and we saw salt all over our vehicle and over our clothes. We saw boots on.
I remember the light gray minivan though.
It was blue.
Oh yeah, sorry,
it was a light blue.
Light blue.
Yeah.
Blue, sorry.
So we all get into the elevator and we all go to the floor that we thought we were supposed to be staying on. It was a very high floor. And so we went to this really high floor and the door opened and the entire thing was a wedding venue. The door opened and there was a wedding going on.
What?
And we were like, it was us like all dressed in like winter material.
Yeah.
And there was just a wedding going on. And we were like, this is not where we're supposed to be. So then we had to go back down to the receptionist desk and be like, where are we actually? So do you remember why we were actually in Florida in the first place?
Yeah,
What was the big thing that we were going to go see?
I just the Air Force Museum, right? Or
The Kennedy Space Center.
Kennedy Space Center. I remember going and seeing the Kennedy Space Center, but I remember better the hangar that Mom was a friend of. Mom was a friend of the guy who like worked there, or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember that one really good. So what I do remember from the Kennedy Space Center though is those spacemen suits that you take pictures in.
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah.
And I thought it was super cool because you like they had like a dome in front of them that you like put your head in.
Yeah. So you felt like you were in a spacesuit. Yeah.
You're referring to the picture booth, aren't you?
Huh?
You're gonna be talking about the picture.
No.
booth.
Okay,
go ahead.
no. I'm correcting a memory. Okay.
Okay.
So we went to an air hangar in Florida. We did, but it wasn't because Mom knew a friend. We went to Kennedy Space Center with her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, huh. Interesting.
And his kid. So we were down there and Mom was like, I'm pretty sure what's his name lives around here. And so we stopped randomly at one of our mom's ex-boyfriend's house. And they were just like, hey, how you doing? And my dad's like, what? It's like the whole time.
Yeah.
I can't remember, like, I never looked at his face, but I know it wasn't,
he was bothered,
it wasn't good. But so, so then they were just like, we're going to the Kennedy Space Center. And Mom was like, you should go with us tomorrow. So, so they came with us. So that's what you're remembering.
Okay. So I remember a very, very odd snippet. So I remember hanging out in the hangar.
Yeah.
And they had, on the left side, the door was closed.
Yes.
On the right side, it was completely open.
Yes.
This big, big open thing.
Yeah.
And
Completely different museum, by the way. So the Kennedy Space Center and that Air Force Museum. Whatever
yeah, I remember that much. But then I think I remember a plane landing or taking off. And we were like, oh, that's so cool. But what I specifically remember is us playing around in the like cockpit thing that was meant for kids. I remember that so good because I loved that thing. And then I remember also getting mad at Mom because I was impatient and she was talking to that one dude. And specifically, I remember him like in like a blue polo, I think.
Interesting.
And he was like, he had his arms crossed and he was like talking to Mom and Dad. And like I like went over and I think you popped into the conversation. I don't know. But it was like me, you, Josh, and Daniel all like playing on that thing. And
So we were down there for 2 weeks and Mom popped us into so many museums. We went to that's what we did down there. So we did the one day at Kennedy Space Center. The rest was at different museums. So the one so they had a huge play place and like the one part of the play place was like this giant rocket ship. That was cool because the inside it had like actual wires and controls and stuff, and that was cool. And then on the other side, it had like a tree house.
Yeah, I know.
It was like a tree.
I'm talking about the one in the hangar though. There was one in the hangar.
There was one in the hangar. Okay, I do remember that as well.
Okay.
Those also two different locations. Yeah, and I do remember the one guy who was like part of the program. And I remember a plane coming in and out.
Yeah.
Do you also remember while we were down there, the last space shuttle up until that point, like they were like, this is the last space shuttle that we're sending up to the International Space Center. It came down on a plane in front of our.
I remember that. Yeah, and I remember Mom and Dad. We were at our hotel, right?
Yeah.
I remember Mom and Dad going, look, and I didn't think it was like. Of course, I didn't know the significance of it. I was like, oh, space shuttle.
Yeah.
It's coming down. And I'm like, and I remember it, I actually like seeing good detail though with it.
Oh yeah.
I think I remember it was good detail. I don't know, but I remember that. I think.
Do you remember being stopped in traffic because they were pulling it?
I think so.
Yeah, we were on the road in the minivan.
You just unlocked a memory I didn't remember I had.
That was my goal for this entire episode,
Good.
is just to unlock a bunch of memories, because I was older at the time, so I was able to like take in more. But yeah, we were in traffic and they were literally pulling this giant space shuttle, and you couldn't see anything because it was just all white. It was just all the material. Yeah. So you were just like, you're like, what? But it was huge, and we sat there for like 30, 40 minutes.
That is such actually like a cool thing.
That we got to do.
That we got to see.
Absolutely.
That is so weird.
All right. Any other memories that you have?
Specifically the hot tub. That was the first hot tub I was ever in. And I don't know why. I just remember like everything being kind of dead around the hot tub. Like it was like tile, and I think I almost slept, or
I just remembered something about that pool.
What?
I kissed you on the lips in that pool.
Oh yeah, you did. That was weird. I remember that. Mom got a picture of it too. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, I don't remember the picture of it.
Mom has me has a picture of me kissing your cheek.
Oh yeah,
when I was a baby, but
yeah, I mean, because we were all like affectionate kids. Like it wasn't weird. It was just like, I love you, and because we did not know
it was a weird
thing, we
Yeah.
were just like affectionate towards each other.
Yeah.
Any other memories? Maybe not of that trip, but like, okay, we can step off of Florida.
Let's step off of that one.
Yeah.
Okay, the Florida the second time is one that I specifically remember pretty good too.
I remember that less.
Really?
Maybe.
You remember that less when we went to Disney?
But the thing is that I have a lot of memories
of Florida in general.
So like going to Disney kind of blurs a lot. But a lot of the prominent ones that I have are from the family being there. So I just need to weed through which ones are. And
that's crazy to me because like I have such a freaking good memory of it. I remember when we got there, it was at Epcot. I think we started at Epcot.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I didn't see, like I didn't really realize.
We didn't see too much of Epcot.
No,
by the
we
way.
didn't.
We didn't.
We like got our tickets there, and then for the park, we got our bands there, and then we took a shuttle out.
Yeah.
And I remember. Specifically about the shuttle, we were like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, Mom was like, "It's an Iron Man shuttle," because it was just yellow and red.
Yeah, and it was cool because like it looked like there was Iron Man on the side. So like whenever you saw, it from the outside, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was just yellow and red, and that's why she was saying
it had Iron Man on it actually too. So
I remember those fountains really good.
Yeah,
you know, like the. Shooting into each
other.
other.
Those were awesome.
Those are freaking so
sick.
sick.
Do you remember seeing? I think it's Prince. It was Michael Jackson or Prince. I think it was Michael Jackson. Do you remember seeing the movie? So there's a theater there where they exclusively show this movie that they made with like Muppets.
Yeah.
Not Muppets, but
that was after the freaking whenever you guys convinced me that we were going in an airplane next.
Oh yeah.
So when we got to Epcot, one ride that we did do at Epcot, it was the first ride that we ever did in Florida. Well, in Disney, it was this thing that was supposed to like remind you of like an airport.
Okay.
And so like you got in, and then you would like walk down this hall, and there was a bunch of other people waiting in this line, and it was indoors somewhere, but in this big center thing.
This is a different ride. Yeah.
Yep. And we walked into the hallway, and you guys were telling me that it was a plane.
It's called Soarin'.
Yeah.
Literally the whole thing is called Soarin'.
And I was terrified.
Were you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I know that.
I was freaking out to Mom because she was like, you guys were like messing with me. You guys like, it's a plane, guys. And like Dad was like, no. But I was convinced it was a plane. And
that's awesome.
I was terrified.
We were gaslighting you the entire time.
I was freaking terrified of heights, and you guys were douchebags for that. And then we got there, and I was like, and it took a while because when we got on the ride and everything like that, I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's a ride now. And like I remember, like it was like seats that like rotated.
Yeah.
And it had this environment and screen in front of us.
So essentially, it was like a laddered seating. So like all of the seats are hanging. Like this in this row. So they would get you on the seats and they would go like this. And then there's this big surround screen right in front of us. It's called Soarin'. If you guys have ever been to Epcot, Disney World in Miami, in Florida.
Yeah.
Orlando, Florida.
It was Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando.
Then Yeah, that's like one of the big ruts. And they so you go over like an orange field and they spray orange in your face.
Yeah.
Did you remember that?
Yeah. You guys sucked for that one. But then I remember afterwards, after we got out, the reason I was trying to say because of the movie thing, mom and dad were scrambling because I think we were trying to find our showtime.
Yeah.
Because the movie was right afterwards. I remember that. I don't remember the movie itself.
I don't either. I don't remember the movie itself at all, other than realizing that it was really outdated. I was like, this is a really old movie. Do you remember the Rock and Roller Coaster?
Oh my word, yeah. That was my favorite one.
Okay.
That was to the left of the Tower of Terror.
Yep.
And then that's where that's where that wall was.
Yeah.
That wall. So there was for preface, if you've ever been to Disneyland, you go to the Tower of Terror and then left is where the Rock and Roller Coaster is. It's that indoor one. And so cool. Hi, Leo. And there's this wall on the left. And it's kind of like a tall wall. It's like a 5 or 6 foot tall wall.
Yeah.
And all of us brothers, except for Josh, were able to climb on it just so easy, even though we weren't allowed to.
No.
So we did it several times. We did it the first time as just a thing, whatever. And then we went into the roller coaster. I remember that was my first time seeing a blind person.
Oh yeah.
Or remembering a blind person because they got a fast pass. I was like, why are they walking so fast? Like, where are they going before us? And then Mom was like, they have a fast pass and they're blind. And then I was like, oh, because I saw you had a cane. I was like, why do you have a cane? Then I remember getting in. I was like, whoa. I was like looking around in the line. And then I like looked over the edge because I think there was a ledge in the line.
Yeah, there was.
Before, and you just like see this like drainage tunnel thing. And that's what you get shot through.
Yep.
And I remember getting shot through that and everything was glowing. And that was my first time I've ever been on an
Are you
upside
sure?
down.
So was it dark in there?
Yes.
Okay, so you may be mixing up that and Space Mountain. Because Space Mountain is like really dark when you go in. And
I
there's
remember
like
Space Mountain.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it was so what Rock and Roller Coaster was, it was styled after like you were in a sewage.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was like darker. And there was like,
I don't remember that.
and there was glow in the dark crap all over whenever you got shot through. That was my first time I've ever been upside down on a roller coaster.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I remember that being super cool. And then we got out of the Rock and Roller Coaster, and then like idiots, we went on the wall again, and got yelled at by one of the employees. But Mom was like, "Can we just take like one picture before we, And they're like, "Fine." And Joshua, for the freaking life of him, could not get up on the wall.
I don't know why.
And so we have a picture now that Mom took because we didn't have enough time. Like the employee was like, get off. Yeah. Josh just didn't get up there and we gave him a hard time about it the entire time.
And he's like, we need to go next year so that I can do that and I can get on the wall again.
Yeah.
And then now I don't think he would do that because he's older now. So he's like 21, so maybe.
You think that he forgot about that?
Oh, he definitely didn't forget about it. But I don't think he would go back just to prove that because also he's like twice the size of the wall now.
If we happened to went to Disney and we weren't specifically going to Epcot again, he would want to go to Epcot just so he could get on that wall.
I think so too.
But I don't know.
Yeah, so there's a lot
What
of
do you
stuff that
remember?
happened.
What do you remember from Epcot?
Okay. So I remember all of the things that you just said. I remember being ecstatic because I got to meet Buzz Lightyear. I remember there was a DJ, there was like a rave with Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
Do you remember that? There was like a giant stage in like the middle of nowhere, like just in the middle of like one of the places. And there's like literally like a rave going on.
It was in between that car ride.
Yeah.
Do you remember that car ride?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you after you're done
The
explaining.
car ride is so cool.
I was disappointed when I was here.
Really? Why? It was really fast. I liked it.
Okay, we weren't supposed to get into it because I was going to let you do it, but I will finish my sentence then. Whenever we got in, I remember looking at all these cool cars in the line. That's what you did. And you got on these tablets, these computers, and you
design a car.
You design a car. And I thought we were getting the Hot Wheels car of it. And I was so happy because I thought we were getting like this Hot Wheels that we made.
So that you'd be getting in the car that you designed.
But no. It was just this random freaking car that you got into.
It was a ploy.
Yeah. And it was on a track too. It was on a track.
Yep.
And it was just like all like self-driving. I remember being kind of
It was a ploy because while you were on the ride, they would be printing your car. And then when you get off, you could buy the car if you wanted.
Oh, so we did have the option to get it, but we just
They
didn't.
were very expensive.
Gotcha.
So
That makes
we just
sense.
didn't get that.
Okay, continue with your memories.
So I really was excited meeting Buzz and Woody.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there being a fight at some point in time that we probably had, like mom freaking out at us. But then like it resolved by us getting into this Toy Story ride
yeah,
where
that
we
was
started
when
like shooting like Toy Story stuff.
That's when we met Buzz. That's when we met Woody, because Woody and Buzz were separate.
Yes, they were.
But I remember tension was super high, and then we got in line for Woody to take pictures with him.
Yeah, and that may be at a different park too, because I don't think I can distinguish between the parks.
Yeah, me neither.
Between Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. I remember at Animal Kingdom, I really remember there was like a Brer Rabbit one where like you go into this mount. I don't know. It was the Brer Rabbit one. It was pretty cool.
You guys into this mountain? Are you talking about that one with like the Yeti who like?
In the same area, but no.
What is that called again? And that was a super prominent one in Disney.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember going into the Tiki Room, and Dad freaking loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then we got out. It was really hot, and then they had those showers with flowers. Do you remember freaking Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah, that was cool. That was really
That
cool.
was awesome. I remember that
You were
park
playing
so
on that
well.
for a long time.
Yeah, but I felt bad though because Daniel had a migraine because he struggled
Yeah,
with
he
migraines
was.
back
Yeah.
then, and he didn't
still
enjoy
does.
any of it. Yeah, not as bad, but that was freaking awesome. And I remember this like soda can that was also like dripping water.
Oh, cool.
This giant, and I was so cool. I was like, it's like, I remember so much from that, including in that same area was Indiana Jones.
I remember seeing the Indiana Jones
So
show.
well.
That was amazing.
And I was so-
There was that freaking helicopter that blew up.
Yeah, and all the explosions and all the gunshots.
And that was before they really got Star Wars integrated.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go back and see Galaxy's Edge. But
I recently watched a TikTok on that Indiana Jones ride, and I was like, I remember that.
have you seen
so
any of the
well.
Indiana Jones?
No, I saw one.
We need to. Okay.
One.
Okay, cool. All right. Any other memories other than Florida?
Yes.
Do you remember like family dinners? Do you
Yes.
remember?
Yes.
Okay, what?
Family dinners, when we used to have them mostly at our house.
Okay.
And we used to play down in the basement. And we used to play We used to play town basement.
Do you remember whenever our mom and dad's basement was actually like furnished and carpeted?
Yep. Do you remember the library? And then we used to do pull-ups on it was not a library. We called it a library, but it was a closet.
I know what you mean. Yeah. It was a closet that had a bookshelf that
On
had all of
top.
our books on it, and we called it the library. I have a very specific memory. I want to see if you remember it. It was a Christmas. And after that Christmas, we got like this VeggieTales Christmas CD. And we went downstairs into the basement. We brought our Legos down there, and we just gotten like those Connects. Do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah. Are you talking about the magnet ones or the the ones that you snap
That snap
my
together.
word. Yeah.
We were down there for like 3 days. Literally, like we were down in the basement, and then we would like go to bed, and then we would come back down there. We would listen to that CD over and over again, and we would build with Legos and those Connects things. Do you remember that? Yeah.
I don't. I remember being in the basement a lot when I was a kid, but
Yeah. We were in the basement a lot.
basement was awesome. I miss that. And that like it was infested with spiders all the time, but the that like shelf area. I can't even explain what that was now.
What do you mean?
Like what was that meant to be? Because it was like this like desk almost, like this big desk.
It's a giant shelf.
That's all it was?
In our parents' basement is a giant shelf that is in a closet. So it's like built into the wall. It has a giant shelf, and there's like 3 or 4, but they also go back into the wall.
Yep.
There's,
I
like,
remember
crevices.
that. And we one time Daniel had his crush over, Emily and Lindsay, and we were mom was babysitting them.
Oh, are you about to?
Spill some tea. I am. I really wanted to play house.
Of course.
So, and they didn't really want to play house. They just wanted to, chill out, whatever. So they freaking tricked me.
What?
They were like, "You're the baby," and then I was like, "Okay," and then like, so they put me in that right corner, in the closet of the right corner under the shelf.
Yeah.
It's whenever, so something really, really freaking specific about that. We had this broken mirror in that part of the closet for so freaking long.
Really?
Yeah, and that was where somebody's. I don't know why I remember this so well too. We said it was like bad luck, or 7 years bad luck, or whatever. If it was broken,
Interesting.
but it was just broken, sitting there forever. I like walked around.
Was it a small mirror or was it a big mirror?
It was, it was kind of like a medium mirror. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
They left me there, and they went off and they did whatever, and they said that's your house, and I believed them.
Wow.
And they messed around, like they were just chilling out in the,
Yeah.
tornado
They were
house.
just being homies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not doing anything weird or sussy.
No, because they were like 5.
Yeah, they weren't doing that. Okay, any other memories? Like prominent ones that like come to you right now about your childhood?
Yes.
Okay.
Whenever I've told you about this a couple times now, but whenever you used to make us those phones
Yeah, okay.
out of cardboard, I freaking loved those.
I still have them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I'll show you after the pod.
I remember begging you to print me off one whenever I was younger. And actually, something funny about that, I remember asking. I said, "Caleb, can you make me a phone?" And then you're like, "Yeah, sure." And then you never did.
That sounds like me.
And I remember like constantly wanting. I asked you a couple times, and then you just never made it.
That also sounds like me.
I remember your room super well too. Like you changed out the layout like 1,000 times. Whenever the bunk bed used to be in the back right corner with that. Josh had this stupid band poster. What was it?
It's a band poster?
Yeah.
Up in the bedroom? Or in the
yeah, it
basement?
was Family Force 5. It was a Family Force 5 one.
There was Family Force 5 on it. Was it a bunch of artists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
So that poster was from material that mom got for youth group.
Oh.
So our mom was a youth group leader, and she got this material that would take music and it would break down the lyrics, and they gave you a poster for each box set of that. So we had like a bunch of those posters, and Family Force 5 was on one of them. Yes.
I remember my room being a dead mess too. We had clothes literally on the ground constantly, and like that shag red carpet.
Yeah, it was disgusting. Till Dad cleaned it up again.
Yeah, and we switched it out for something.
Okay. Best memory that you have. We'll close out the pod. Best memory that you have. Ever.
Whenever I was younger or now?
You can go now. You can do what best memory of all time.
It's kind of a toss up, but currently the one that comes to mind like right away is first seeing the Grand Canyon with the boys.
Yeah.
And like making that decision because that wasn't something that we planned. We just did. But I think there's something that's like, I think there's definitely something deep that's like, it was with all of the family that I really, really enjoyed. I just can't think of it right now. What about you?
There's a lot of moments. There was one whenever we went camping as a family in Cook's Forest. Me and Katie came down. So it was kind of recent. We were all sitting around the fire and we were all just talking about stuff. So that was a fond memory-ish.
There's definitely like deeper ones that we have as a family. It was just
they're all vacations, I think. The other one we had do you remember when we got to the log cabin? And we were in that log cabin, and me and Josh had our own room. And then that's whenever I told everybody that I peed in the
I don't remember
in the
that.
milk jug.
Was that at
So the whole purpose behind that was we went to this hiking trail that had a bunch of waterfalls, and it was kind of underwhelming.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. So we rented there was a cabin-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a really good memory.
I definitely have to put Ranger Boy Scout camp up there as well. I really like that camp.
Which one?
The Boy Scout camp. Do you remember the one that me and you went to that one year? Forever, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Me and you went on our own because you were the worship leader.
Yeah.
That's where, first off, I started soundboard. But I have so many good memories whenever, oh my word, so many different memories up there. But I just love the dining hall, and also finding all those tokens whenever I was younger.
Yeah.
No,
that was fun. I really enjoyed that camp. But there was another. I feel like I almost spilled a drink every single time.
Yeah.
There's a couple camps that I really remember with Rangers. I have a lot of really good Rangers memories. I have a lot of great memories.
Especially that winter place too.
Do you remember Dan Healy's farm?
Maybe. I don't think I went to that one. No,
Okay.
no. Is that where
When
you
Dad set off a bunch of like, okay, so I'm gonna tell you this story really quick.
go ahead.
So I don't think you were there yet. You weren't part of Rangers yet, but oh yeah, you might have been down there. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so Dad thought it would be very funny to do this new prank that he got. So this will be my memory that I'll use. Okay, so he took dry ice. He bought dry ice, and he brought it, and he put it into 2-liter bottles, and he would put a little bit of water in there. And what he did is it's like me and Adam, my cousin, we followed my dad all over the camp, and he would like chuck it so that it would be behind people's tents, and then they would explode.
No.
We left, so we put like 5 or 6 all over the camp.
Jeez.
We went over and we sat down at our camp area, and we were waiting, and Dad was like, it's been like 30 minutes. He was like, this is bad because they're building up a lot of pressure. He said, I don't think I put enough water in them. Like it's mainly just all dry ice. So he was like, what's going to happen is that the dry ice is going to completely melt and those bottles are going to explode. And this camp was in a valley. Mm-hmm. So
It was echoing. Yeah. Oh my
just about the
word.
same time that he said that, there was a
No.
and it echoed throughout the entire valley. Remember, we had 6 of these that we had thrown. So it was, so my dad was like, we need to go take care of this. Cause we heard like one of the commanders or whatever, he was in a tent and he was like, it's not funny anymore. And he was like, so Dad, like, he was trying to grab as much of them as he could and like chuck them. And then he went to the one that was by that one commander's thing because it was going to be bad. It was going to be really bad. And Dad, for some reason, he was like running with it. He could hear it go. He chucked it into a fire. And dude, I'm not even joking. He said, get down. I was still recovering from my broken leg at the time. I was like trying to like run. I like fell down and I just looked back and I can see Dad like running. And the fire went.
Cool guys running in front of explosions.
Yeah, cool dudes. So look at explosions, but like Dad's like running away from the fire as it like exploded in the fire. Okay, that was an amazing memory.
Awesome.
Anyways, thank you for watching.
Death by Vanilla.
We'll catch you in the next episode.
Just what I was fixing to do.